So getting yourself nice and cozy for this practice of Yoga Nidra inspired by the Himalayan tradition. So settling the whole body into comfort, and you can be in any position that feels good. Making sure there's enough cushions and blankets and cozy layers. Welcoming yourself into your own wee nest. And as the day is turning to twilight and the lights in the flats and the tenements here in Glasgow are turning on, glowing lights in the windows and people coming home from the park, stamping the cold out of their feet and blowing the chill out of their fingers as they get their keys out, unlock the front door and come home. Here we are, laid in our own wee cocoons of coziness and comfort. And I want to invite all of you to this practice of Yoga Nidra. And I'd like you to invite all of yourself from the top of the head to the tips of your toes, to the heels, the knees, and the tip of your nose. So inviting yourself into this wonderful nest of coziness and rest, into this safe space. Where you can completely let go. And in the practice, you're very welcome to follow my voice. Often what can happen is the deeper mind knows what it needs from the practice and just does that anyway. So there is no onus on you to do anything or to be anything at all. This is your space in which to connect in nourishing and delicious ways. And so as the light fades to dusk and to twilight, on a clear day, at a time like this, we can imagine or even see the first stars starting to shine. And in your mind's eye, this could be the evening star. You may be thinking of just general stars, or you may be pretty up on the night sky where you are and have a favorite star that you'd like to bring to mind. Here in Glasgow, it's been a chilly day, Early morning, there was frost gilding the roofs, the gutters, the bushes and the walls. And that chilliness has stayed all day. And so the sky is cloudy and yet cold, and a few spaces appearing in the dark clouds. Little stars peeping out like tiny eyes, winking. And I'd like to invite you to imagine that quality of the night sky, the twilight, into your experience right now, imagining that the whole body is like the cosmos. And as we take our awareness around the body, we're going to invite in this wonderful nighttime beauty as we go. And so visualizing and imagining in the mind's eye, tiny star. Breathing all the way down the spine on the exhale, out through the toes, and all the way up the spine on the inhale, all the way to the top of the neck and into the center of the head, and then all the way back down. So a couple of these nourishing, long, languorous breaths, bringing the awareness right into the core of the body. And the next time that the breath is up at the top of the spine, going up into the center of the head, aligning it with the space in between the eyebrows. So imagine you're mapping coordinates in the night sky, and there in that space, in line with Brumadya, the eyebrow center and the center of the head at the top of the spine, is your star. How clear is the sky, and how clearly that star shines. And bringing the awareness from that point down to in between the collarbones, the soft space there, and placing another star. And from that point over to the right shoulder, and in the center of the right shoulder placing a star. One at the elbow, another at the wrist, and 5 shining stars in the tip of the right thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Bringing the awareness back up to the star in the wrist, elbow, shoulder, back to the star in between the collarbones. And then over to the left shoulder, placing stars in the middle of the shoulder, at the elbow, at the wrist, and in the tip of the left thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Tiny stars. Bringing the awareness back to the star in the wrist, elbow, shoulder. The star in between the collarbones. And taking the awareness down to the center of the chest, in line with that point on the spine, to a star shining in the heart. And the star is full of warmth, and seems to be very far away, but close up could be vast. So taking the awareness from this point over to the tip of the right breast, placing a star there. Coming back to the star in the heart, in the core of the chest. And then over to the tip of the left breast, placing a star there. And coming back to the star in the heart. And traveling down the body now to the navel. Placing a star in the navel, between the navel and the spine, the core of the body there. And then down again, bringing the awareness to the hips, the pelvis, and placing a star in the center of the pelvis behind the pubic bone. Taking the awareness to the right hip, placing a star in the hip, in the right knee, in the right ankle, and in the tip of the right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth and fifth toes. Bringing the awareness back up to the star in the ankle, knee and hip. Back to the star in the center of the pelvis. And then over to the left hip, placing stars in the hip, the knee, the ankle, the tip of the left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth and fifth toes. The whole body mapped in stars. The whole body mapped in stars spanning across the cosmos. Bringing the awareness back up to the star in the ankle, the knee, the hip, the star in the center of the pelvis. Bringing the awareness up the body to the star at the navel. The star in the core of the chest, at the heart. And from there up to the star in between the collarbones. And then to the first star placed in the center of the head in line with the eyebrow center. The whole body is mapped in stars, as if each of these stars is pulsing and sending their light waves and radiation in a beautiful symphony. As if we listen hard enough, we can hear their resonance. And so taking the awareness from the star in the center of the head and breathing all the way down the body, down the spine, down the legs, to the tips of the toes, and all the way back up. From the star in the center of the head, all the way down the body, to the tips of the toes, and all the way back up. So that the breath and the awareness, hand in hand, are flowing easily all the way down. And hand in hand, flowing easily all the way up. A total of 10 breaths between the star in line with the eyebrow center and the toes. When you've finished your 10 breaths, just bringing the awareness back to the star in the center of the head, in line with the eyebrow center. And breathing from there all the way down the spine, down the legs, through the knees to the ankles, and all the way back up. Breathing from the eyebrow center all the way down to the ankles and back, so that the breath is flowing easily down and easily back up, forming a triangle of breath. And a total of 10 breaths between the star in the center of the head, in line with the eyebrow center, and the ankles. And bringing the awareness now back up to the star in the center of the head. And breathing from there all the way down to the knees. And from the knees all the way back up to the star in the center of the head, in line with Brumadhya. Again, 10 breaths, forming a triangle of breath all the way down to the knees. And from the knees all the way back up along the spine, up into the center of the head, in line with the eyebrow center. And when you've finished your 10 breaths, bringing the awareness back up into the center of the head, to the first star placed. And breathing from there all the way down into the pelvis, to the pelvic floor. And from the pelvic floor up the spine, back to the first star placed. All the way down on the exhale, and all the way back up on the inhale. And 3 more breaths following this path. And then bringing the awareness back to the first star, and breathing from there all the way down to the navel and back, all the way down to the navel and all the way back up. 5 breaths in total. And when you've breathed your 5 breaths, just bringing the awareness back to that first star placed in the center of the head, and then breathing from there down the body to the star at the heart. And from the star in the heart all the way back up. Steady and slow. Breathing between the star in the head and the heart. A total of 10 breaths here. And when you've completed your 10 breaths, breathing from the star in the head to the star in between the collarbones and back 5 times. And then bringing the awareness to rest in the star in the center of the head. And from there, breathing forward to the eyebrow center and back 5 times. And then once you've completed your 5 breaths, bringing the awareness forward into the eyebrow center and imagining a very small triangular breath from there down each of the nostrils and back 10 times from the eyebrow center to the base of the nostrils and from the base of the nostrils back. And by now the breath may be very light and soft. By now the breath may be very subtle. It's almost as if the breath itself is like the wind in the cosmos. Almost as if we can breathe in between each of these stars, very subtly, very softly, with every breath. And so I'd like to invite you now to turn to rest on the left side so that the right side of the body is being breathed. So gently turning onto the left side so it feels as if the right side of the body is open and being breathed for 10 breaths. And when you've breathed your 10 breaths into the right side, without disturbing yourself too much, turning over to rest on that side so that it feels as if the left side of the body is open and being breathed. Almost as if when we breathe in, the left side gently fans open with the breath. Once you've breathed your 10 breaths into that open side, coming to rest back on the back and breathing 10 breaths into the whole body. So the whole body is being breathed. Almost as if with the breath we can feel the pranamaya kosha, the energy layer of the body, gently expand and contract. Once you've finished your 10 breaths into the whole body, letting go of all directive breathing and simply being in that space, that liminal space that is the awareness of Yoga Nidra. As if the breath is flowing throughout the whole body between each of the tiny stars, easily and well. And then bringing the awareness to the star in the center of the head. And from there, down to the star in between the two collarbones. And in that space, imagining in front of the mind's eye a full moon. And then taking the awareness down to the star in the center of the chest, to the star in the heart. And resting the awareness there. No image, just connecting with the heart space that is both as tiny as a pinprick of light in the shawl of the night sky, and so vast it can contain universes. Connecting with consciousness itself in this space. And so you may simply wish to listen. It's said, in the space of the heart, we connect with consciousness itself and with the divine. We connect with each and every one of us, all conscious beings in this space, with the vast and the indescribably tiny. And so, starting to make the breath a little louder. Starting to welcome yourself back into this very moment in the room or the space in which you are right now. Bringing small bird-like movements into fingers, into toes. And if you wish, you might want to stretch the whole body out. Make the whole body lovely and long. And then hug the knees and rock gently from side to side, and just finding yourself on a comfy side. And you're very welcome to stay there or come up to a more alert and upright position. So we're going to finish with 3 Oms. And you're welcome to unmute yourself or simply enjoy the Oms for what they are.